Thankfully, Android today is packed with interesting games, from online titles where you can play and spend money on gacha to premium games you buy once and enjoy completely offline. But with so many options, it's not always easy to find a game that's truly addictive, and that's exactly why you're here. Today we're counting down the top 15 most addictive games on the Play Store. So drop a like, sit back, and let's get into it. Let's kick off our list with a co-op roguelike you can play with your friends, TOREROWA. The game focuses on fast-paced sessions, usually lasting up to 5 minutes. Your main goal is to enter a dungeon, defeat monsters, collect loot, and find the exit portal before time runs out or you get taken down. In TOREROWA, you form a team of 3 players, either with friends or random players, working together to take down the boss. On top of that, the game mixes PvE and PvP at the same time, which keeps every match unpredictable. Each run can have up to 15 players on the same map. That's 5 trios at once. So while you're fighting monsters, you might run into other teams and decide whether to cooperate or fight them for their loot. There's no fixed class system here. Your playstyle is defined by the weapon you equip, and even though it's a roguelike, the game carries a strong RPG feel as well. One of those games that feels truly polished on Android, even though it's a bit overlooked these days. Let's talk about T3 Arena. What really sets T3 Arena apart is its fast-paced gameplay. Matches usually last between 3 to 5 minutes, making it perfect to play during any short break. The game features almost 30 heroes divided into different classes. Each character comes with an active ability, a passive skill, and a powerful ultimate, giving every hero a unique playstyle. In terms of gameplay, this might be one of the closest mobile experiences to games like Valorant Mobile or Overwatch on mobile platforms. While it originally focused on 3 versus 3 matches, the game later expanded to include more strategic 5 versus 5 modes and even a battle royale mode to attract a wider audience. That said, some players do mention the presence of bots in early levels or lower ranks, mainly to speed up matchmaking, something to keep in mind when starting out. If you're into tactical RPGs, especially those heavily inspired by Final Fantasy, this might be one of the most interesting games you can play right now. Let's talk about Sword of CONVALLARIA. The game uses a visual style often referred to as neo-pixel. I had to look that up myself, but honestly, labels aside, the visuals are absolutely gorgeous. The pixel art is detailed, expressive, and packed with atmosphere. This mode offers a massive single-player experience with multiple endings and branching paths. Your choices genuinely affect the fate of the nation of Iria, and what makes it even more impressive is that this mode has its own progression system. On top of that, the story mode continues to receive free chapter updates, expanding the world's lore beyond the gacha content. There was even a recent collaboration with The Witcher, bringing new characters into the game. If you're looking for a straightforward, fast-paced FPS to play on Android, you've found the right game. Let's talk about Standoff 2. Standoff 2 is often called the Counter-Strike of mobile. Developed by Axelbolt, it's one of the most technical and competitive FPS games available on Android. Unlike games like Free Fire or T3 Arena, Standoff 2 is a pure tactical shooter. There are no powers, no special abilities, and absolutely no aim assist. Skill is everything. The classic 5 versus 5 mode, where one team plants the bomb and the other tries to defuse it, is the core of the competitive experience. On top of that, the game also offers other modes, including smaller 2 versus 2 maps for faster matches. Standoff 2 has a very strong esports scene with international tournaments and a highly competitive player base. Right now, it's easily the closest thing you'll find to a true Counter-Strike experience on mobile. And without a doubt, one of the most established roguelike franchises on Android, but this time we're talking about its new version, Soul Knight Prequel. Unlike the original Soul Knight, which is a bullet hell experience focused on dying and starting over, Prequel takes a very different approach. Here it plays more like a tactical action RPG where you keep your progression, and that alone changes the entire gameplay loop. Easily one of the best aspects of the game is its class system. You start by choosing one of 4 basic classes, but as you level up, the game unlocks a second free class slot, allowing you to combine 2 different classes into a single character. So yes, you can create builds like a mage warrior, completely changing how your character plays. The game also supports co-op play with up to 4 players, making dungeon runs even more chaotic and fun. And here's the best part, after a season ends, your hero becomes permanent. You don't lose your character, your progress, or your hard-earned gear. If this game doesn't get you addicted for one reason, it'll definitely hook you for another, and you'll see exactly what I mean. Let's talk about SNOWBREAK. build teams of 3 female characters. On the battlefield, you control one at a time, freely switching between them to trigger support skills or powerful ultimates when needed. The game blends realistic firearms with advanced, almost magical technological powers. These abilities are the characters' real trump cards, often feeling even more impactful than the weapons themselves. However, throughout 2024 and 2025, the game noticeably shifted its narrative focus, evolving into a much deeper relationship-driven experience. On top of that, the game leaned heavily into fan service, completely changing its overall tone, and as a result, attracting a much larger player base. I seriously underestimated this game. I left it installed on my phone for a long time because I thought it looked like a kid's game. But let's talk about /Quest because it's actually really good. What truly sets the game apart is its control system and physics. You don't control the character in a traditional way. Instead, your magical sword grows as you defeat enemies. The bigger it gets, the greater your reach, but at the same time, it becomes harder to control, which creates a surprisingly fun challenge. /Quest is one of those super simple games done right. It only uses 2 buttons, has a straightforward story, but completely makes up for it with fun, creative gameplay. And even better, the game works fully offline and has continued to evolve over time, adding cosmetic items as well as optional side quests, keeping the experience fresh without losing its simplicity. The oldest game on our list, but let's be honest, who doesn't enjoy playing as a samurai and slicing enemies in half? Let's talk about Samurai 2: Vengeance. You play as Daisuke, a lone samurai traveling through a war-torn feudal Japan, driven by revenge against his arch-enemy Orochi. The story is told almost entirely through comic-style panels inspired by manga, because honestly, during gameplay there's not much dialogue, it's mostly about swordplay and cutting through enemies. One of the main reasons this game has aged so well is its distinct art style combined with simple, responsive gameplay, and despite being an older title, the game has received recent compatibility updates, including one as late as October 2025, ensuring it runs smoothly on modern versions of Android. That's exactly why Samurai 2: Vengeance still deserves a spot on this list. A very recent game from the famous Resident Evil series, and even though it might look bad at first glance, trust me, it's way better than it seems. Let's talk about Resident Evil Survival Unit. During the first 30 minutes, the game behaves like a classic Resident Evil. You explore dark environments like a mansion or a police station, solve small puzzles, and fight zombies in third-person view. After the prologue, the game reveals its true identity, a strategy RPG/4X experience. You inherit a base that needs to be rebuilt, and manage resources like food, ammo, and materials, and send squads on missions across the world map. The game features several classic characters from the series, but they're unlocked through a traditional gacha summoning system. In the end, the game managed to win over a lot of players, even people who were never fans of Resident Evil in the first place. We've already talked about the famous Counter-Strike on mobile, and this time we're moving to a classic FPS as well, but one that plays completely differently. Let's talk about Rainbow Six Mobile. If you enjoy tactical FPS games where strategy and environmental destruction matter more than just running and shooting, this is the perfect choice. The game keeps the iconic 5 vs 5 core gameplay, attack versus defense, that made the franchise famous. It also preserves key mechanics like destructible environments, allowing you to surprise enemies by breaking walls, floors, or ceilings, along with many of the classic operators fans already know. There are some differences in how certain game modes work compared to the console and PC versions, but they're still very much based on the classic modes the series is known for. Rainbow Six Mobile works well for longtime fans of the franchise, but it's also very welcoming to new players. It changes the pace and flow to fit mobile perfectly while still delivering that classic tactical FPS experience now in your pocket. That super relaxing game where you start playing and suddenly don't want to stop because you want to discover every story and every detail. Let's talk about Potion Permit. You play as a chemist from the medical association sent to the town of Moonberry. The catch is that the local residents don't trust modern medicine and prefer their traditional methods. Because of that, you need to earn the townspeople's trust by healing them and learning more about who they are and what they've been through. The game doesn't focus on heavy combat or farming. Instead, the gameplay revolves around 3 main pillars: diagnosis, item gathering, and potion crafting. You diagnose patients to figure out what's wrong, collect ingredients around the world, and craft potions to cure them all at a calm, steady pace. Like any good social simulator, you can befriend around 30 different residents, uncover their secrets, and help them deal with their personal problems. And yes, after reaching a high enough friendship level, it's also possible to romance specific characters. Maybe one of the only truly original Souls-like games on Android, and a perfect offline experience. Let's talk about Pascal's Wager. even though it's technically an older game on Android, released back in 2017 as of December 2025, it still stands as the gold standard for players looking for a real challenge and high quality graphics. Here are the key points. You start by controlling Terrence, an exiled messenger searching for his missing wife, but the story quickly grows into something much bigger, involving the fate of the entire world. Unlike games like Samurai 2 Vengeance, any mistake in combat here can be fatal. Timing, positioning, and stamina management matter all the time. As you fight monsters, your sanity slowly decreases. If you become abnormal, the world starts to change, enemies grow stronger, and you may even experience hallucinations. If you reach the insane state, you'll face terrifying versions of the bosses, making encounters even more intense. Pascal's Wager is genuinely impressive and proves that Android is capable of delivering any type of game, even deep, hardcore, Souls-like experiences. The evolution of Anima RPG, a fully offline Diablo-style game and a perfect choice for anyone who loves dungeon crawlers. Let's talk about ONIRO. The game throws you into a world devastated by demonic invasions, featuring dark, gothic environments mixed with influences from Eastern mythology. Its gameplay follows the foundation of classic ARPGs, clearly inspired by titles like Diablo and Path of Exile, with real-time combat, an isometric camera, and a heavy focus on loot. You explore different maps, wipe out hordes of enemies, face powerful bosses, and constantly collect new gear, creating that addictive loop of kill, level up, and get stronger. One of ONIRO's biggest highlights is its extremely flexible class system. Instead of locking you into a single permanent choice, the game allows you to unlock and combine different classes, creating hybrid builds and truly unique playstyles. Let's talk now about a strategy game originally from PC that's a bit forgotten on the Playstore, NORTHGARD. Unlike classic RTS games like Age of Empires, NORTHGARD has a slower, more deliberate pace, focusing heavily on smart resource management and the environment, but it also brings a very interesting mechanic. In NORTHGARD, you control a Viking clan that has just discovered a mysterious new continent. This is the game's biggest standout feature, the season cycle. During summer, you gather food and firewood. In winter, production drops drastically while consumption increases. If you don't plan ahead, your clan can starve or freeze to death before you even encounter an enemy. The game features different clans to play as, each with its own strengths and playstyle. There's also a PvP mode with up to 3 versus 3 matches, where the game becomes a more traditional and competitive RTS. On top of that, NORTHGARD supports crossplay between Android and iOS, allowing for online competitive matches across platforms. That game you can easily spend 200 or even 400 hours playing and still not get tired of it, one of the most addictive games out there. Let's talk about Moonlighter. The game is built around 2 main cycles that feed into each other. At night, you dive into dungeons that work almost like a roguelike, collecting every type of item you can find along the way. During the day, you sell everything you collected in your own shop. What you do during the day directly affects what you can do at night. With the money from your sales, you upgrade your character with new gear and equipment. And with better gear, you can explore deeper dungeons and make even more money by selling higher quality items. Moonlighter features some of the most detailed and fluid pixel art on the Android platform. The animations of the main character, Will, and the monsters are full of personality and charm. It's simply a perfect blend of roguelike, RPG, and management mechanics, all working together in one incredibly addictive experience. That's your list of the most addictive Android games. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and see you next video.